Naples Select Board meeting to order for Monday, March 23rd at 6 p.m. We have a public hearing for a liquor license renewal for Randy's Worcester Street Pizza located at 770 Roosevelt Trail. Anybody here would like to speak for that license? Any questions from the board? Seeing none. We also have a new business license for the Shade Shop located at 12 Lakes Plaza Drive, Unit 4. Anybody here that would like to speak for that one?
Yes, me.
Go ahead. Come up to the podium, please.
So my name is Zenas Gagnon. I own and operate the Shade Shop. We're based out of Kennebunk right now. With my parents, Frank and Jan, and my wife, Dawn. It's just nice to meet everybody, and I just introduce myself. So,
Good.
any questions for me?
Can you tell us about the shop?
Yeah, so we've been doing shades and upholstery for mostly 50 years, and then shades on the latter side probably in the last 20, 25 years. We've been in the Kennebunk area for probably the last 20. So,
I'll ask. There's a remark in the paperwork by the fire department and stuff, and it talks about no fire extinguishers. Not sure what that meant. It says there was none.
none in the location right now.
That's, yeah.
Okay, we can address that, and we can get with the fire marshal where we need to do to take care of that. So,
Thank you.
all set. Thank you.
Board all set with that application? Move on to the regular select board meeting. Please rise, salute the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All board members are present. Nobody is attending remotely tonight. Review of meeting minutes of March 9th, 2026 and March 11th, 2026. Need a motion and a second.
I make a motion to approve both sets of minutes.
Second. Got a motion and a second. Any questions, corrections, errors, omissions? Seeing none, all in favor? Aye. 5-0. Town managers report.
I'm gonna forgo that tonight. We got plenty to talk about.
You're gonna forgo it? Okay.
Yeah.
Public participation. I'll open it to the public for anybody in the audience that wants to speak before the select board tonight. Please,
Good evening.
Please introduce yourself.
John Tavanian, Pearly Road, Naples. I just had a nice little conversation with the town manager beforehand, and it relieved some of the concerns I have with the upcoming budget. I want to urge the select board, when coming up with a budget, to keep in mind the unassigned balance fund amount. That's important. We should have a 2 to 3 months cushion. And that, with last year's, this year's budget of 17 million, you're looking at about 2.8 to as much as 4.2 million. The projected fiscal year at the end of this year, 25-26, is supposed to be around 2.6 million. With the proposed budget from either the town manager or the budget committee, each budget would take an additional 500,000 out of the unassigned balance with an overlay of 100,000. That gives you approximately a net 400,000. That's going to lower it down to 2.2 million. If we keep everything, we take that budget, zero for the following year, 27-28, we got to take out maybe another net minus 400,000. So when we're looking at this budget, the error was made in the past. That's an error. We can't do anything about it, okay? But let's not make that error and compound it by making future errors, by going too low on these things. you're the select board, we're the town, we're gonna have to make a judgment where the unassigned balance should be. We gotta make a judgment of what a reasonable amount of expenses to run a town is. But let's have that discussion, but let's have clear mind that the mill rate in itself is not be-all. Because we can lower that mill rate, we don't have to be at 1075, because my understanding, it could be a little bit wrong, but it was originally at 1075, the town matches budget. That's not including an additional $90,000, which the county is expecting additional, so that's another 6 to 7 cents. So now you're at 1082. And then if you take that $500,000, which is taken away from the unassigned, if you just say we're not doing that, that's additional about 38 cents. So in reality, the mill rate is 11.20 for this year, just to keep the unassigned balance at 2.6 million. Now, obviously, we can't do it that high of a mill rate because that's not fair for the townspeople. But what I'm saying is perhaps we need to look into having a budget which the expenses, maybe we need to look at the budget committee's budget recommendation for the expenses, but I don't like paying taxes, but use a higher mill rate. Their goal is to lower that mill rate to 250 or whatever. We might have to still do a 250 for expenses, but have a mill rate still at 275 so we don't lose the unassigned balance. Because if we don't do that, we're going to have to pay the piper eventually. Well, we have to pay it. Because in essence, what we've done last 5, 10 years, whatever, is that we have been, as a town, been subsidizing the mill rate by drawing down on the unassigned rate. And the problem with that, we don't know what the unassigned fund is. We've made decisions that the town, the committees, the select board over the years saying, we can do this, we can do that because we're comfortable, because we know our emergency fund is solid. Just keep that in mind when dealing with these things. Because I don't envy you guys. You guys are going to be voting on this, and the town's not going to be happy. Because last year was 950, it's going up. It has to go up. Okay? It's because of the error, and hopefully the town has safeguards that error won't happen again. And like I've said to the town manager, I'm glad he found out about it.
Yeah.
Okay? It's important. But let's look in the future, clear eye on this. So, that's all. Thank you.
Anybody else here for public participation? Seeing none. I don't see any adjustments to the agenda. Does anybody else want to move anything? No. Seeing none, we'll move to approval of licenses and permits. I need a motion and a second for the liquor license renewal for Randy Worcester Street Pizza.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any further comments? Seeing none, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? 5-0. I have a new business license for the Shade Shop. I need a motion and a second for approval of that one also.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any other comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? 5-0. We have nothing under old business. Moving on to new business, ballot clerk appointments.
It's in your folder.
It's in that folder next to you. All those names need to be signed. Michelle or Jesse, did you want to talk about those for them?
It just, everybody that works the elections that we utilize have to be appointed every 2 years, every even year. So it's something that we just have to do every even year to make sure we're following the guidelines.
We haven't done it yet, as far as this year.
Not for 2026, no. It has to be done before May 1st. April 1st, sorry. Yeah.
Would you guys like me to read the list of names, or do you just want to approve it as a block?
Make a motion to approve the list of names presented by the clerk and town manager.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any comments, questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? 5-0. We'll sign this before we leave tonight, so don't forget. Fee schedule. I believe Officer Brackett asked for this to be put on.
I did. I think I've talked to you guys individually about this, but wanted to bring it to your attention. I sat with Randy on Friday, was looking at the fee schedule, and I know he's researching a few other ones, but wanted to kick around the idea about adding a couple for animals. And specifically, frequent calls for animal control. The sheriff often does it. If your alarm goes off, first time it's free, second time they charge you $25 if it's, miscommunication or you just hit the alarm or something. So, like Randy to look into a climbing scale of what that fee schedule might look like. I don't know if it's 25, 50, 100. I think that's what the sheriff's office charges. But if we're making frequent trips to people's dogs or residences because of their dogs or animals or whatever it is, I don't think that should be on taxpayers and it can offset the cost of the ACO. So I think it's a win-win. I don't know if we need a motion for that or just kind of guidance to Randy.
Do you have another one that you want to bring up? We'll do them all together, or is that the only one?
The other one, I don't know, Randy's gonna look into is the dog license fee. I don't know what that is. I think it's $5 a dog. I don't know if we can increase that or not. I think I heard during the budget season, we're getting like 130 calls or 120 calls so far this year. Like, that's a lot of running around dogs. Like, people need to take control of their animals. So I just think if we can increase that or whatnot.
It's 5 for a new register and 12 if they're late. Is that how that works?
Nope. $6 if they're altered, $11 if they're not.
And
$25 late fee after January 31st.
$25 late fee, so
Do we get all of that, Michelle, or is that all the state, or sorry to put you on the spot?
Nope, that's okay. I'm on the spot, but I'm going to try to remember. You can let me know if I'm wrong. But the way that the money's broken down for registered dogs is 3-2-1. The state gets 3, animal welfare is 2, and the town is $1. For unaltered dogs, it's 10 and 1. 10 to the state and $1 to the municipality. None to animal welfare. $25 is
buck a dog.
no, and the $25 late fee is 100% animal control. Our money, municipality. Yeah.
Yes, we don't
Yep.
have any money on that category.
So we encourage everyone to pay late then, right?
Well,
We want to encourage everyone to pay after January 31st.
and then I think we have like an ordinance or a policy or something that says you can be summoned up to $100 if you don't do it. So, and that's municipality money too.
I have a question about the fee schedule in general. Is that set by the town? by
Select board,
and fines would be as well?
you approve that list, yeah.
We
Okay.
approve that list once a year.
Okay. And when do we do that?
Yeah, I think the last time we did it was May. I think it's May of
Okay.
every year.
And just to be clear too, with the dogs, that is all we're allowed to charge
Oh,
by the state. Like we get told what we can charge, and that's it.
And I
Yeah.
believe there's also a state law that says all monies collected like that have to go towards animal control. You can't wash those into the undesignated fund balance, so.
Correct.
So all fees collected should be going to ACO, or covering the ACO budget.
it's like states would offset the cost of paying all the money. I think he's looking at that. All right, that's all I had. So that's just guidance for Randy or
Yeah,
future.
that is just guidance for Randy. We don't need to vote on that. You got that? Okay.
Yep.
Good. Letter C, board to review and vote on proposed budget. I believe we're gonna start with a slideshow from the town manager.
We are. And I just want to start out by saying that this was something that I was asked to put together, and really the purpose of it is to kind of guide us through the conversation so that we're not bouncing all around. trying to be structured. And there may be some mistakes in here, and that's kind of why we're going over it, to make sure we understood what the Budget Committee recommended. So, here we go. Oops. For some reason, I can't see this on my screen. Okay, so the first
Any
thing,
way to expand that to the full screen or not?
I can't even see it on my screen.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it is, but it just, see, I can't bring it up on my screen.
It's not showing up.
There it goes, it's gonna show everything I got.
But over.
Oh, I can do this, Ted.
Right there, presentation. There you go.
There you go.
There you go.
That's better. There you go.
Okay, so the first thing I wanted to talk about is right now, if everything goes the way we think it does, we're sitting on 1065 for a mill rate, and I'll show you that in a minute. But a couple of key points I wanted to bring out is the school has gone up $744,000 since last year. The county's up $119,520, and right now the municipality is actually down $15,000 over last year. So those things. Okay, now how do I get to go to the page now? There we go. So the mill rate, this is the mill rate calculation. So based on everything, we're at 1065 with $121,000 overlay. And a couple of points I wanted to make is when we started this process, we were predicting something closer to 1120. We already talked about what the current projection is. And if you were to break down the 1065 by school, county, and the town, the school would be 698 of that, the county would be 062, and the municipal mill rate is $3.05. So even though the taxpayer gets a bill for 1065, $3.05 is actually the town. All the rest of that goes somewhere else. And just as a point of reference, last year, with the math corrected and everything, last year was 319. So that's also a reduction.
Randy,
Yep.
is this the 1065 off of the budget, like before our recommendations?
No, it's kind of a quasi. It's got some of yours in it, yeah. And we're gonna go through that and you'll get to see.
Okay, so some of it, but not all of it?
Some of it, but not all of it, correct. So this is a summary. On the left-hand side, you can see the list of what we call funds. So those are major categories in our accounting software. It's also how they show up on the warrant. If it's in yellow, it means there are differences between what was originally requested and what the Budget Committee recommended. If they're in white, it means everybody was in agreement. And my expectation is when we hit one that's yellow, we'll pause and have more conversation there than we will on the ones that are white. We can talk about any and all of them, but the yellow ones we're definitely going to have to talk about. And some of the things up for discussion are the ambulance, Kent's Landing, dredging, parking lot, the healthcare reimbursement account, select board stipends, staffing in the clerk's office, recreation center funding, and funding for the community groups and the outside agencies. So this is the first one I want to walk through. So capital reserves, fire and EMS, that's the ambulance that we need to talk to, paving and road repair, and then finally the ACO vehicle reserve. I don't really think there's a whole lot to talk about there. We're just going to move the money. From the fire and EMS vehicle, we had originally proposed taking $200,000 out of reserve and then financing $180,000. Budget Committee recommended holding off on that. I've since had conversation with a select board member who wanted to know if we could go ahead and still buy the ambulance and do it all out of reserves, where that way there's no impact to the mill rate. If you look at this chart, the original proposal was $728,000 out of reserves. The Budget Committee, it was $662, $651. And actually, both of those numbers would be 64,000 lower because 64,000 would come from taxes. And then, so the revised recommend, and this is what we would discuss, would be if we put the ambulance in it and then we put the paving back to where we were at 372, and I can explain that, we'd be taking 914, but in reality, 850 would be coming out of the reserve fund and 64,000 would be raised in taxes. Yep.
Ted?
Yeah.
I have a question. In fact, I have an immediate concern. The Budget Committee is charged with presenting a budget to the Select Board. The Select Board either accepts that budget or changes that. At such time as the Budget Committee then revotes on the recommendation of the Select Board. I just heard that one Select Board member has made changes to this budget.
That's not what I said, Jim.
You said you got a call from a Select Board.
I said I talked to a select board member. It's on here as an option.
No, why can one Select Board member all of a sudden have a column as an option? That's not how the budget works.
Okay,
The Select Board has to vote or deliberate on what they would like to have. No, you can't have a column for one Select Board member. That is not how this budget works.
Why do we even have a revised request
Yeah.
column? Where, like, whose numbers and discussions and like, what is even making up these numbers?
so if you want, the budget committee recommended 662, 651, there's no ambulance in it.
So
How do
it's
we
up
get-
to the Select Board to then accept that number or deliberate, take a vote, and present a new number.
Okay?
But you can't turn around and interject a column all of a sudden in the 11th hour that represents one Select Board's idea.
So Jim,
Select
eventually we're
Board
gonna get
member's
to the
idea.
discussion anyway, so if you want us to vote on the 662, we can do that. But if they don't agree with it, we're gonna get right to the other line anyways.
My point is the process. This is not how this process is supposed to work.
Okay, then ignore the third column.
So on a different discussion, Jim, after you guys voted on your piece last Wednesday night, I think with your changes, you got down to 12 cents taken off from the proposed mill rate. Does that sound right?
Something like that, 12 to 15
Yeah.
cents, yeah.
So I came in on Thursday, and not that I asked for this special column, but I did ask Randy, what would it look like if we did an all-in budget trying to get the mill rate to 10.75? And he told me he'd show that to me. And now he's worked on it and got it down to 10.65. That's the question that I asked. What can we do to get there?
And again, I have no problem with, the way it's supposed to work is the Budget Committee has presented a budget. The Select Board now either accepts that budget or changes it. And then you guys deliberate, you vote. Once you make a change, now the Budget Committee has to re-vote on every one of those items.
And you're still gonna do that?
Right.
Yep. That's still gonna happen tonight.
Right, but no one should be looking at the revised request column because nobody knows where these numbers are coming from. It's basically starting all over.
Right.
That's the issue. I mean, if you guys wanna go through this entire packet line by line again, like we just did last week, all together, then we can do that. But looking at a revised request that goes from 664 to 598 to 850, or 492 to 392 back to 442. I mean, no one knows what's being cut here, what's being added back in. I mean, this is a blindside, what this is.
This isn't true, Samantha, it's highlighted. And I already said we can ignore the column for now.
It's highlighted to show difference. What are the differences in each one of those columns? Do you know off
Geez.
the top of your head?
Yes, EMS vehicle reserve.
All right, what is it?
Instead of
It's
zero,
funded
it's back
projects.
in at what what the
So are we
vehicle cost
beginning
was.
the budget? Are we going line by line now, starting with
So, I think.
capital reserve?
I think Budget Committee already did that. You guys went line by line through the budget, made cuts, additions, wherever you guys felt was necessary to get to your number,
Yep.
which was 662, 651. I think the select board now is gonna go probably line by line and or look at this and present a number.
There we
And then
go.
if you guys agree with that number, you'll vote in favor or against that,
Correct.
and that's it. I don't think you guys are going line by line anymore. You guys are
No.
just gonna sit here and wait till we collaborate or deliberate on one of those lines.
Correct.
And then you'll come back and say yay or nay.
Correct.
So Sam, I don't think you're going line by line. I think you can listen and see what the select board has come up with or thought about.
No, but I wanna make sure you guys go line by line and not just go off of this revised request, because no one on the budget committee knows what these numbers are.
And I think Randy's every intention to do that. I think we're just jumping the gun a little bit. I think he's explaining that, and then either he or someone on the board or us as a board can deliberate line by line if we want to. Does that make sense, Randy?
It does.
Teddy, does that make sense?
Yeah.
So capital reserves, we want to go line by line and see what you guys think about some of the things Randy just talked about, and we'll look at any lines that you disagree with or agree with. I've got some thoughts on some of them.
So if you want to go down line by line, so the first one highlighted in yellow, if it's not yellow, there's no difference. If it's highlighted in yellow, then there's a difference. So the budget committee, there's no ambulance. So the original request had it 200,000 out of capital, or out of reserves, and 180,000 financed. The one that showed in the revised column, that would be the ambulance back in, but instead of no finance, it would be all out of reserve.
Right, but this is simplifies the story.
And then the next one down, the paving and road repair. We don't really need permission. The selectmen have permission to draw from these funds for the purposes of which they were appropriated. That's on the warrant. So original request was 372. What we were trying to do was make the reserve fund last 2 years, because we knew we weren't putting money into the reserve fund this year. Budget committee wanted to go up to 5,000, and the third proposal there is going back to 372. Reasoning on that is to preserve as much funds as we possibly can. So if we're going to spend on an ambulance, let's pull back. If we need to spend more, all we got to do is ask the select board. We can technically, we could ask you to spend the whole 743,939.
Go ahead.
This is more, I guess, for Steve, while you're sitting here, man. So, budget committee recommended 500,000. Is that based upon a plan of roads that are gonna get identified to pave, or?
Yes, that current situation of oil prices.
Right, that's the major,
You know,
that's the major reason.
that was the major reason for increasing it to the 500,000, because 370,000 is not gonna get very far.
It was also brought up as
So-
a suggestion from Teddy.
So it's the same work, you're just anticipating an increase in liquid asphalt.
Yeah,
Has that happened yet?
yes, it already has happened.
It's already started to
It's
escalate?
already started escalating at this point. So, there's 4 major projects, 3 major projects, one to finish up what was Kansas Road from the bridge to 302.
That's for the
At
372?
at 372,000, I don't believe I'm gonna get all of that, but I can't 100% say.
The concern was to make sure that we got as many of the projects that he wanted to do in the original budget completed in the new budget, so that's why it got bumped.
Steve, to that point, recommended 500 because of the price influx. Obviously, we can't predict the future, but does it make sense to increase it even more if we have reserves to pay now, or it's gonna be more expensive later? Or can you not, can you not fit that in the schedule? Is that too much?
I probably can, Colin. I think that at this current situation, this is probably we're gonna see the highest asphalt pricing that we've paid in the 10 years I've been here. So, just currently, I mean, look at what you're paying at the gas pump. You know, we're $5 a gallon for diesel fuel. You know, so.
Not that we want to put off changing our brake pads, but if we put it off a year,
I'm not gonna put off anything that's safety related. Vehicle maintenance is safety related. We're not,
I'm just,
no, I understand what you're saying.
like the,
But I think, and I'm gonna speak for most of the department heads, these budgets that we present to you guys, they don't have fluff in them. This is the bare minimum.
all right, that was it, I shouldn't have said it that way, I guess. It's more, if we put off paving for a year, is there a good chance the price is gonna come back down?
Yes, I mean, I don't have a crystal ball, but I would say yes.
We're in a situation where the price of petroleum is skyrocketing
I
under the
would-
circumstance.
There's a couple that I would like to work on, just because if we let them go, we're gonna make them dirt roads. Because they're crumbling as we speak. You know, one of them being Pearly Road at the Chaplain's Mills end. That is, actually, if you stand in the road and I drove past you, 5 feet away, you would actually move, because the road's moving. So.
So for that 500,000, there's nothing new being paid. Nothing new being paid, it's just an increase in the cost.
Correct, not add addition to the projects, no.
Steve, is there actually a project list with calculations on it, or is this
With
just?
calculations, yes, sir.
And it comes out to 500 grand?
No, it comes out to $400,000 at the price that I paid last year.
Okay.
Increasing costs with reclaiming and the cost escalation of the liquid asphalt is, I was guessing. That's all I can do, you know, so.
And again, what was the projects? Finish Kansas Road?
Yeah, just, that's a minor one that could get pushed off. It was, I apologize, I was not prepared, but there's 1,000 feet of Pearly Road on the Chaplain's Mills end that needs to get reclaimed and base pavement. There is the Lamb's Mills from where we stopped around the 400 block back down this way to get overlaid Thompson's Point Road in its entirety, because it is, the top is delaminating. Just so everybody can put a grasp on it, we put approximately 8 tons of cold patch out in the last 2 weeks, due to all the potholes and the delamination, and we still haven't got them all. So, and then there was King Hill Road. There's approximately 1,000 feet of a King Hill Road that needs to be reclaimed and base paved. I believe that's pretty much it. Thompson's Point, the overlay is substantial cost due to the fact it's 9,000 feet long, so.
Yep. So you're gonna, we're gonna, but it's still on capital reserves. So I know, but under capital reserves, it was requested for $664,000. Budget committee recommended $598,336. And then our revised request is $850,336. Can you just, one more time, so everybody knows how we got to that number? The 850.
The 850, you
Yeah.
can see, if you look at the blue, the column there labeled in blue that says reserve funds, there's 92,000 in causeway improvements, 380,000 in a fire truck, 372,000 in paving, and 6,336 in ACO vehicle reserve, moving that money to pay down the principal. You add that column up, that's 850,336.
Jim, do you have a question?
Yeah, I just have a comment on the ambulance. There was 3 reasons why we took the ambulance out of the budget. Number one, the chief mentioned it during his presentation, then I asked him again last week, and he said that he could live another year without the ambulance, number one. Number two, you're gonna deplete almost the entire fire department's reserve for equipment. Number three, and this gentleman hit it right on the head, hit the nail right on the head. This is also, by not spending that 300, you are not depleting your designated surplus fund by 300,000, which is going to give you a cushion if you choose to continue to take money out of the undesignated fund to help this budget. So by spending 300,000, you are going to have 300,000 less in the bank. When you add the undesignated and the designated fund together, you're going to have 300 less. So it's not just about the ambulance. It's also about depleting your entire equipment fund for the fire department. And it's also about protecting the designated and undesignated fund. So I just strongly suggest that you consider this decision has implications elsewhere on this whole budget.
So the 850,336, that number's all coming out of reserves, is that correct?
Yeah.
It's not coming out of the general fund.
Well, reserves, designated or undesignated.
Right.
Yeah.
I would make one recommendation on this, the ACO vehicle, recommended take the balance towards the principal. It's a leased vehicle, adding money to the principal doesn't change anything. I'd say stick it back in undesignated fund balance. It's a lease for 5 years, we have to pay it no matter what, so paying on the principal doesn't change the cost whatsoever. Stick it back in the fund, what it earns interest.
Yeah, but there's no penalty for paying it off early, so
But you're still gonna pay it all.
you do.
If it took down the interest, yeah, for sure, but you gotta pay it all anyway, so it doesn't matter. Stick an account, make it earn money for us versus paying off something for nothing.
I didn't know it was a
I
lease.
know it's wasting.
We didn't know it was a lease.
No worries.
No, that makes sense.
I have a question about the ambulance. Is there any thought to putting that as a separate item on the warrant? So the residents would decide if we're getting this ambulance or not?
You can if you want to make that a motion.
Well, there's a couple different thoughts on that too. If it's gonna be a bond to take 180 grand, it's gotta be a separate question anyways. If you're just gonna take it out of high, you can just ask it a separate question.
Right.
It just depends on which way you're gonna do it.
I mean, the reason why I'm saying, should it be a separate question, because obviously we don't want to spend the money for the reasons Jim just said, but then we got to worry about an ambulance that we need to replace. So it's a big decision.
But my thought on, my decision on the ambulance would be based on how much more is it going to cost us next year? Because that price,
Will
the
cost
price
us
ain't going
more,
down.
Yeah.
What was one last year?
Huh?
We know what one was last year? Do you know what one, chief, what an ambulance cost last year by chance?
I don't, I didn't obviously price them last year because it wasn't on the schedule. I can tell you in 2020, the last time we bought an ambulance, it was $222. And now the price that I got for this year was, I think it was $384 or something, $386. So,
If you had to guess, how much would you think it would go up in another year? Just show, just,
That's 40,000.
we're going 20 a year, we're
I
going
would
40 a
guess
year?
50,000 probably.
That puts us up 4.25, roughly,
I don't know though.
Grand a year, I don't know.
40 grand on average.
On average, 40 grand a year.
Yeah.
I'm fine with our lease motion, I think it makes sense. I'd second that. That's all.
Okay, I make a motion to put the ambulance purchase on the warrant using reserve funds, right?
That's a separate item.
Yep.
Second.
the whole purchase? So we're not borrowing the whole purchase out of capital reserve funds? Is that what I'm sorry.
Well, that was 3 something, right? The
No,
whole
she said funded out of reserve accounts.
Out of reserve accounts.
Yeah.
But the full purchase to buy an ambulance is 3 something.
So, I don't know that I presented to you guys, I presented to these guys. The price that I gave you was from one of our neighboring towns. I looked over their bid specs. I don't think it will cost us that price. I think I can get it cheaper. I don't need a lot of the bells and whistles that they got, but I haven't priced it.
But is it 200 or is it 3?
382 or 386.
Go ahead.
It's brought up, so I know whether we're in favor of buying one before we go through the time of speccing a truck and wasting vendors' times and wasting everyone's time that's involved.
Chief, do we sell the current ambulance we have that we're gonna trade in, or how's it?
I'm gonna trade it in with the purchase.
What do you think they'll give us, is that
I-
include the 380?
I'm not even gonna say.
Come on, that's a fun exercise.
I've learned,
You love
no.
it so much.
So some of the lessons in life are learned the hard way. No.
So, part of your motion, Arlene, your motion is to pull it out separately at $382,000, funded from reserves.
Because
Is that what I heard?
It doesn't change the tax rate, and the people don't know what they're voting on.
Because I think that's the number that was asked for, was 382.
All right, now, we were, in this example, we were talking about 200.
That was,
It's just a portion.
that's a portion,
They were gonna take 200, and then they were gonna.
Okay,
and then they were gonna bond.
okay,
Budget committee said, no, don't do that at all.
okay. So we
Take it
went
all.
to 380,
380?
yeah.
And keep in mind, if you put it as a separate warrant and it gets voted through by the town, then you have to buy it. You can't get back out.
Right.
So if, you're just gonna deplete the reserves. It's not gonna change the mill rate one way or the other. It's
Right.
gonna deplete the reserves faster.
So, by pulling that number out, what would be the new number that we're looking at? So where's our own, 470, that's what I thought.
It would be closer to our number of 662 minus the 336 from the ACO vehicle, because we do not have it in our recommendation.
So that number would be 470,336. Right? We agree on that?
Yes.
Which is just not drawing down our reserves.
The 400 is not drawing down the reserves, right? Ed had a question?
How long does it take after you order it to get it?
I would say probably 2-year mark,
2 years?
probably.
So if you don't buy it this year, you're looking at 4 years before you get a new one?
3.
3. You'd have to wait another year and then start this process again.
Yeah.
And then do we have 2 years to pay for it?
I think you pay some and then you pay the rest once.
But the replacement, because it's getting old,
Right.
you're looking at 3 years before you get the new one?
So a 10-year vehicle is now gonna be 13 before you get rid of it. Right.
Yeah. Hey, no-brainer for me.
So, I didn't know it was
I
gonna
vote
be,
yes.
I didn't know it was gonna be 2 years. Is the current ambulance we have, it's not really putting it off a year, it's putting it off 2 years.
Correct.
Is it gonna make it for 2 years?
So if you put it off a year, it's put
When
it
you
off.
find the crystal ball, let me know. I could use it.
I think it's a hell of a chance.
If it's separated, then by the time town meeting comes, you could have more information to sell it to the voter if we even need to. Right? Is that possible to have?
What's that?
To have more information on the purchase, like how much money do we have to come up with this year? How much we got
Oh
to
yeah, I
come
can
up
find that out.
Because that.
I won't know the exact number until, I'm not wasting a bunch of time with truck committees and vendor time for something that's never gonna happen.
I think everybody knows it needs to happen, it's just when. And so I think if there's any question, if it's a separate item, they can have a discussion at the town meeting. You can say, well, ultimately, we don't need to come up with 300.
Oh, yeah, well, we can do that, yeah.
You could say, we only have to come up with half of it this
Yeah.
year, and then next year, then we're spreading out, we're only taking, we may not even need to take 200 out of reserve in that case, but.
Can I ask a
But
question?
you are committed to it, but you're also not putting anything in the
Right.
reserve.
Go ahead.
That's the thing to look at.
Last year or the year before, we didn't fund the reserves at all because we were gonna do lease to own. I was under the impression we were still doing that with this ambulance. Is that not the case? Are we not doing the lease to own stuff anymore?
Not according to the motion. It would all be paid for out of reserves.
Okay. So at some point, we're gonna talk about refunding those reserves. Because now we're 2 years behind.
And if we use the reserves for this ambulance, how high are you gonna pay? If we used all of it?
I don't know, using all of it?
Yeah, if we used all of it, we have in reserves to buy this one ambulance.
All right.
Leaves us with nothing.
You all set?
Yeah, I'm good. Unless someone else has something.
No, hold
I'll
on.
just stay.
Pat, what do we have in the reserve for fire equipment right now? What is the number?
The fire equipment, it's,
49,961, it's right on the
49,
the TV screen.
That's right.
How, wait a minute, you're taking out 380,000. What is the balance now before you take out the 380?
249.
It's 249.
249,
And the
961.
Ambulance, and the fire equipment reserve is 249,
So how can you take out 380 if there's only two?
because they're pulling from other reserves.
What other reserves are you pulling it from? Again, this is our concern, is somebody has a plan here, but nobody has explained the plan to us. So what other reserves are you coming up with the other $140,000?
So we'd have to have some discussion on that. Oops. I had them all colored now, didn't I?
Chair, mind if I,
I was waiting for an answer, but go ahead.
well, while we're waiting for that answer, there's two things. Totally 100% for his ambulance. I know because we work on it. You don't know what tomorrow leads. My problem is none of these reserves have gotten money in 2 years. And I'm not trying to be that guy, but the 140 grand, where is it coming out of on this sheet?
That's what we're trying to find out.
Let me speak. It's coming out of paving reserve. It's the only one that has money in it.
No, it's not. So the suggestion that I got was to take money out of the marine safety boat replacement. We could do that as a purchase lease. There's $10,000 in a signage buyback reserve. What is that? 10 grand just sitting there without a purpose, really. Talked about the Causeway bathroom facility. There's no land down there to buy to put a bathroom, right? That was a suggestion.
Correct, I did see that.
And then the maintenance department vehicle reserve was brought up as a suggestion as well, because we're doing lease to owns on those.
Yeah, and I'm good with that if that's what we're gonna continue to do.
Yeah.
Well, wait a minute. You gotta vote on each one of those to move that money out of the reserve. Arlene can't just make a motion that said we're gonna spend 380,000 on an ambulance when she didn't even know, I bet you this is news to her, that we're taking the boat out of the Marine Safety Department and taking, 10,000 out of signage is fine, but you guys have just piecemealed $140,000 that nobody knows about.
Well, quite frankly, I like the idea of putting it in front of the voters, right? Let them decide whether they want to push off buying an ambulance or not.
Show the breakdown of where the money comes from, I guess.
You gotta tell them that they previously voted to put whatever in the boat reserve. They previously voted to put 10 in signage. They previously voted to put 25 for bathrooms. You gotta tell them, we're gonna take 10 out of this, we're gonna take 25 out of this, and you're gonna give them a laundry list that they previously voted on and said, oh, by the way, we're killing all these projects now and we're devoting it all to the ambulance.
Well, and
What happens if the 25 for the bathroom fails on
And
the warrant?
that would be spelled out in that warrant article, I would hope, of where that money's coming from.
That's not Arlene's motion.
But what if it fails?
Then it fails, the whole thing
Fails,
fails.
and we look
So
at
you
it
have
for
to
next-
vote on the bathroom facility, you'd have to vote on all these individually, and then if one of them
No,
fails.
they would all be spelled out in that warrant article
So
of
it's all
where
or
the
nothing.
funding is coming from.
But don't you have to move?
The taxpayers can do that.
The taxpayers can do that.
Taxpayers
So
can
one
do that.
warrant,
One
so
warrant.
one article you're gonna put in front of the town of the 90 people that show up. And you're gonna try to explain to them that here are the 5 different places we're all gonna move this from in order to do the ambulance.
Correct. That's the
And it's
motion,
all or nothing.
that's the motion that's on the table, yes.
Isn't last Wednesday's budget meeting, you basically said you could stave off a year not buying the ambulance?
Oh,
So-
we can run it another year.
Right, but if you moved it back a year, and it takes 2 years to get it, all right, we're gonna get 3 years before we get a new ambulance. The question is, can you survive, can this town survive without a new ambulance for 3 years?
No
I
choice.
can't answer
Yeah.
that.
You can't answer it, but the answer's gonna be no. All right, so the real question is, we need an ambulance, and we need to order it.
We have two,
We have to.
we have 2 ambulances, so we're not gonna be out.
Right.
Well, again, tonight, for the first time, at 6:45, did we hear that it takes 2 years to get an ambulance? The budget committee was never told that, ever. Because now, you're right, now we gotta, there's a different question before us now.
They don't make them in 30 days, Jim.
Okay, but nobody told us it was 2
No one
years.
asked.
I've been out of the
It's the
fire
same different with the fire
department
trucks.
for 15 years, and it took a year to get a truck, back 15 years ago. So I know damn well it's gonna take pretty close to a year to get that ambulance, and if you don't buy it this year, it's gonna be 2 more years to get it.
Well, Ed, where were you 2 weeks ago?
Unless we can find a stock one that's put together, like we did with the fire truck. No, we didn't wait.
One that doesn't
You got a question? Come on up.
I'm gonna say.
We don't know who you are, come on up.
I'm gonna make a statement. It's not so much a question, Ted. I am a taxpayer, and I have been for over 50 years. I wanna know where the money's coming from, whether it's put on the warrant or it's put on the side of the building. I wanna know where the money's coming from.
Yeah, absolutely.
So put it on the warrant. Yes, explain it. We're not all stupid. Some of us are. I'm probably one of them, but we're not all.
No, you're not stupid.
So that's what we were just talking about, Priscilla, is if a separate warrant article is asking to purchase an ambulance for $380,000, we're gonna explain in that warrant article where the money's coming from.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And this draws the fire equipment to zero. You have depleted that entire fund and, you know,
Well,
if something happens to the marine boat, there isn't gonna be no boat on the water.
The original ask was for 200,000 out of the fund and then financed financed the 180,000, which had a $47,000, $41,000 finance charge, which
Right.
was 3 cents on the mill rate. And we
Yep.
said no to that.
Yep.
So,
Chief, have you got?
because that's another option, you finance it.
Yep, go ahead.
Chief, have you got a replacement plan for
Everything,
in-house vehicles?
everything.
So what is the next item after this if you say this ambulance passes this year, what's the next piece of equipment on the hit list?
I believe it's the tank truck.
What's that run?
Probably 400, 500.
400,000 or 500,000. So we're never gonna have a reserve to cover that.
No.
Can we?
Your next ambulance, if you follow the schedule that we've been working on for as long as I've been here and the chief prior to me, your next ambulance is due in 2030.
We had originally looked at leasing equipment from Androscoggin through their lease program for these vehicles. Can we not do ambulances and trucks anymore, or is it just the?
That's why I asked, because that's why we didn't fund reserves.
Which would make sense, because we're never gonna get,
You'll
you're never gonna get $500,000 for a tanker truck, and then 2 years later, you need another 400 for an ambulance. That's $900,000 in the next 6 years, 4 years.
You
I
look
still
out,
don't know how they're
I
gonna
I think 10 or 12
140,000.
years, and he needs more like $2
10,000,
million for
25,
this stuff.
Well, yeah,
and
ladder
40.
truck is through the roof.
I mean, it's not just vehicles, it's air
Well, that's
packs. I
only
mean,
three, where's the rest of it?
you're looking at $250,000 for air packs.
We're never gonna get-
Heart monitors are $60,000, $70,000. The stretcher in the truck is $80,000.
You gotta buy the heart
It's-
monitor. You gotta buy the heart monitor. It's the only thing that's kept me alive the last 2 years.
So,
It doesn't make
Colin,
sense.
to answer your question, there's multiple ways of financing it. You can go with Androscoggin Bank, right? They're a little bit more flexible in how much you borrow and when you borrow. Androscoggin Bank is, I mean, they'd be here in a week with a check for us on something. But you can also do the Maine Bond Bank. They'll do equipment as well, but they only do it twice a year. So you have limited options on when you can apply and when you can get the money. But they're a lot lower interest rates, but they have minimums amounts that you can borrow. You could borrow that ambulance from the Maine Bond Bank. Or, yeah, you could finance it through the Maine Bond Bank. And if we did it for 10 years, which is essentially the life of the ambulance, it'd be like 2.97%. We had that was the original proposal, was a partial use of funds and a partial finance.
Well, that sounds, 2.9 sounds better than the 5.4 for the $1.80,
Yeah,
for sure.
well, $1.80 wasn't enough, but if you find, the $1.80 I didn't think qualified for the Maine Bond Bank. I think you have to be closer to $250,000. But I was told at $250,000 they would finance, so you could finance the whole thing. There's gonna be interest payments to make, but over 10 years.
It just seems like we're never gonna get this reserve anywhere close to where it ever needs to be to cover the equipment for fire rescue. It's never gonna happen.
Right.
So thinking that we're gonna build this
Well,
reserve
this-
back up to any kind of status is not gonna happen.
Including this budget, because we didn't put anything in there.
Right.
You're 500,000 less than what you would have if you had continued to fund it. And I didn't mean to kick the can, but that was the whole reason why we stopped funding reserves, because we were gonna lease these vehicles.
The other,
I,
the other piece that you could look at is if the vehicle costs $380,000 and the taxpayers vote to do that, when he orders the vehicle, it's a down payment. Then we get 2 more years that we can build that fund to pay for the rest of it, or we can lease them.
Because you get the tanker truck coming in too.
Right.
Oh,
So
vicious cycle.
It's never gonna end.
if we wait till next year to purchase the ambulance, and then 2 years after that, we purchase the fire truck, now
Right.
Yeah, you ain't never gonna get.
you're never gonna get there.
No.
So what we have
That's what other
for
towns do.
the capital reserves account is we have 2 votes that we have to make. The first one being that we vote to fund the capital reserves. The request was $664,000. The budget committee recommended $598,336. And without the ambulance, we're looking at $470,336.
Can you wake up the screen?
Yeah, pretty pictures.
And after we do that vote, our next vote for the same line is going to fund an ambulance in a separate line item for $380,000.
but you need to list
And
where it's all coming from.
in the warrant article, we'll list where it's coming from.
Well,
And where is it all
nobody
coming
still
from?
gave me the rest of the answer. So far, you've given me 60,000 out of the 140. I don't know where the rest is coming from.
On this paper that we have in front of us, we have $92,000 come out of Causeway Improvement Reserve.
So you're not doing the sidewalks? Because in the budget is to redo the sidewalks on the causeway, so you're depleting that entire fund and we're not doing the sidewalk?
No, hang on, Jim, I think that's not right. So, Teddy, if I may, I'd say we go through this and just say, hey, budget committee, because you're not gonna be able to do it as a whole, budget committee, select board's gonna have to go line by line. If you flip that page,
But, so,
you're gonna have to say, budget, or select board, somebody's got to make a motion to allocate $92,000 from existing reserves for causeway improvements. I'll make that motion, actually.
Isn't that the money for the sidewalk?
He's not suggesting borrowing that money. He's just talking about using it for what's on the paper.
Okay,
So we'd have to make a motion.
that's not part of the ambulance.
No,
Things that move.
I don't think that's what he.
and that's what we're doing.
But you can't do it as a whole.
I wasn't, I was doing two separate votes. This one being,
470.
the 470 is one vote, and the 380 is the second vote.
No, but you're gonna have to go vote on each individual line. Move it across. So you're gonna have to go say, move 62 grand from that to that fund. You're gonna have to go.
Can you put it on the basketball game?
But again, that is when we get to the $380,000 vote. But the first vote we're gonna take is to fund that at 407.
Thank you, Steve.
And then to get
Priscilla,
to the 380, we're gonna.
My
vote
complaint is that this warrant
correct?
article is gonna be massive.
That's okay.
Because it's gonna be a ton of information all loaded in one rather than it being separated out.
That's fine, but everybody needs to
I do
know.
it first.
No, I know, I wanted it separated out
So 66,
I don't
53,
get
and
to all
7,
in one line.
rather than one. It gets
25,000
hidden.
from the
I don't
back.
want it to get hidden.
and 95,000.
What was it,
No.
last year?
Husband,
Last year,
read it.
the recommendation was to take the bathrooms out of
They
the,
don't.
Why is that?
voters voted to keep it in, right?
Yeah,
Like you asked that question.
Right.
I forgot.
Right.
yeah. That's why we didn't use it. So we did the recommendation.
Hey, Ted,
Hang on a second, Jim. Trying to get my answer.
The danger that
66, 53,
one
69.
person doesn't agree with 10,000 out of the 180 that you're taking out, and it gets voted down, the whole thing gets voted down.
It's 151.
Well, right now, the recommendation is no ambulance.
Yeah.
I guess we can write a little warrant article to ask for permission for an ambulance. It's a lot easier than no ambulance.
All I'm saying is you weren't here last year during the town meeting. The recommendation of the budget committee and the select board, unanimous, was to take the 25,000 out of the bathrooms for the causeway and put it back into the general fund, and it got voted down by the people. So that's why you need to make a list of where this 160 is coming from. So far, I've only heard 60 of it. Where's the rest?
Well, what's in here?
Does somebody have the list?
What's in here,
That list
Jim?
adds up to 382. The numbers that I just gave you is 382.
The marine boat, the signage and the bathrooms adds up to 182?
The boat alone is 66,000.
Yeah.
The bathroom is 25,000. The
Yeah,
$10,000 for the sign.
yeah.
The 40.
That doesn't come to 160.
No, we're at 101, right?
That's at
101.
right, 101. Where's the rest?
Took it away from the selectmen's pay. You took it away from the selectmen's pay.
There it is, they're in blue. 66,000 for the boat, 10,000 for the signage, 25,000 for the causeway, and 31,344 for maintenance vehicle.
Out of the maintenance?
We lease them anyways.
Yeah, we've been leasing them.
No, it adds up to, adds right up. If you take the 249,
Yeah,
961,
it does.
it's 382.
Comes to 380. So that's your motion, Arlene?
Yes.
43.
Do you
I
have
second that, because
a
it doesn't
vehicle
make
that
sense
you're
for
gonna have to
continue to have
replace within the
reserves
next
for all these
few years?
vehicles.
They're just gonna lease
Leasing, that we're
They
never
got all
gonna
brand new
actually
stuff,
buy
they don't even buy anything.
We can't fund it. We're never gonna have a plan to buy it. $2 million electric truck, but we're never gonna be able to save for that.
The All right,
horse
so-
is out of the
Fire
barn.
department could be so lucky as you guys.
So,
Hey, you need to be plowing. Go plow.
Correct.
At least give me a choice.
Right. All right, so Arlene, your motion was to fund the ambulance on a separate article at town meeting
yes,
for $380,000. And to get there, we're taking $200,000 out of the fire department reserve account.
249,
You're taking it all?
taking it all. What difference does it make? There's not enough money there after you take the
That's
200,000?
that's
You
not
can't
how
buy
you-
a stretcher.
That's not how you run a company, by saying what difference does it make, and then you wipe it out.
You're depleting the capital, you're depleting reserves.
The fact that we haven't funded it for years and we're so far behind that we can't buy anything out of it anymore is really the problem. And we're never gonna catch up now. We got locked into the leasing program probably 5 years ago.
Sorry if I'm correct, but it was a year ago,
So what?
Yeah.
the leasing program.
The leasing only started a year and a half ago.
No, we started leasing, but by not building the reserves, you
Oh, yes.
lost your
Yeah,
option
from
to do it
yeah,
differently.
I apologize, I didn't understand what you meant, sir.
Yeah.
So
That
is it
ship
not
has
smarter
sailed.
on our half to lease the rescue?
Is that right?
I mean, that's
I
what the
mean, you
chief
can pay
thought
it
was
out of the
happening.
reserve.
It would,
40,500 a year, roughly.
no, you could just buy it. You could go through the Maine Bond Bank and just buy it.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
You
So-
pay the yearly
Lease to
payment
own
out of
is the
So
program that Andrew's
what
talking
impact
about.
is that gonna have on the tax rate?
nothing.
Nothing.
No, if you lease it, if you buy it from the bond
Well,
bank.
a partial buy, it was in there, it was 3 cents.
Right, so what if you fully, at the 2.5% roughly?
If you pay the bond, if you, for the next couple of years.
I don't dare,
pay the bond
like,
out of
do
the
anything.
reserve account,
It'd be no.
it would be nothing impact.
But
So
you could
again-
also cushion
so again,
next year. Start
because
cushioning.
we have to list the reserves that we're taking the money out of.
Yep.
It is the fire rescue equipment reserve. It
Yep.
is the maintenance department vehicle reserve.
Correct?
It is the marine safety boat replacement.
Yep.
uh,
Signage buyback,
Signage buyback and causeway bathroom facility.
correct.
And that total is,
3,
382, I think is what he said.
yeah, it's roughly 382.
$382,000.
Yeah.
Okay, you got a motion and a second. Any further discussion amongst the board?
I'm hoping that Justin can bring some options to the town meeting to say, like, so we could say that, you know, you can say that he's spoken to somebody where this is coming from and that what the payment terms are and how the timeline is. with-
Payment terms is, that's them guys.
no, when do they require it to be paid?
Oh,
for?
that-
If
yeah, I
it takes 2 years. So if you
I can
told
find that out
everyone
tomorrow.
that it takes 2 years for an ambulance, so really, I assume you pay part of it when you get the ambulance or at some point.
I would
close.
assume you pay some amount.
So that's gonna be next year anyway.
So we'll take,
Yeah.
we're not gonna dump 380 on reserves.
Right,
No,
July
Right.
1st.
you're gonna have to
Take
have
down
down
payment.
payment down.
When you
The
order
down
it.
payment's probably 20%.
yeah.
20 or 30 probably.
So the warrant article is going to be asking the town to move all of these funds essentially over to the EMS vehicle reserve.
Correct.
And then when the time comes, we place the order, we have a down payment, whatever it is, whether it's this coming fiscal year or the final payment is the next fiscal year or whatever, it's going to be in that reserve amount to make those payments. And that's what will be presented on the
I don't have
warrant.
a problem
Correct.
doing that.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Depleted.
5-0.
Yeah, but you're not doing it.
So now they have to
Correct.
vote.
You call for a vote, so.
But if they vote on that, how is it changing their number?
The budget committee has to make a recommendation on her article because it's a money article.
But it won't change your number because you guys removed it from the budget anyway. You've already removed the
Yeah.
ambulance from it, right? So
Yeah, but
you're-
each article has to have the vote of both
Correct.
bodies.
Correct, I'm just clarifying
Yeah.
that the number that you have for
Right now,
capital
we're voting
reserves.
on her article, we're not even voted on the new number yet, right?
Right,
Yeah.
I was just clarifying,
Yeah, yeah.
that's all.
Can I get a vote on the motion that's on for the movement?
Comes around.
Yep.
I second that.
All in favor? 3 in favor, opposed? 1 opposed, abstain?
One abstain.
1 abstain.
311.
311.
Okay. And now for the rest of our first article we're talking about is capital reserves funds. The request again was 664. Budget committee recommended 598, 336. And now the select board is recommending 470, 336. I need a motion and a second for that number.
Four 470,336.
Wait, Teddy, I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
I don't get it.
The 850, 336 minus the 380 is 470, 336.
Plus, you gotta add in the 64, 315, top line. It's all in the capital reserves. So 64 is being raised by taxes for all the other stuff.
Budget committee made two separate votes.
Oh, okay, sorry.
I think to be clear, we need to go through what you want to allocate. There's 2 different votes here. There's raise through taxation and then allocate out of funds. There's still some numbers out there that you guys need to vote on, like the 92,000 for the causeway improvements, what you want to do for paving, what you want to do for the ACO vehicle reserve, which I think you've discussed, but you haven't voted on it.
Well, no, they vote on the whole package.
It's the whole package.
They don't vote in individual line items.
Right, but that, I don't know where that, I can't seem to get that 470, where that 470 is coming from.
Yeah, what are the pieces in there, Ted?
Because what your revised budget to us, the grand total was 850,336. That included the ambulance.
If you pull the ambulance
Removing
out.
the ambulance of 380,000 from the 850, 336 brings it down to 470, 336.
Okay. So it's everything else, it's the 92.
I'm just trying to close out that one line.
Yeah,
Why is it?
okay.
Okay.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second
They-
for the 470, 336. Is everybody clear on that?
It's not quite clear yet.
But that's,
Am I not correct?
92,000 plus 372 plus 6,336.
We were 598 without the ambulance, and now you're 470 without the ambulance.
Because we had,
Oh,
we're
and
500
paving.
for road
Yeah,
paving.
paving, yep.
So you guys are doing what for paving, back down to 372?
So you're not increasing paving at all, Ted?
No.
Okay.
For the record, that was your suggestion.
Yeah.
Was there a motion?
Motion second.
Do you have the number?
yes, I'm sorry, yeah, I'm good.
It's your
Okay.
number. Your number's right.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Everybody's clear?
I don't think
Know what you're voting on?
Gonna get you.
All in favor? Aye. 5-0.
Did you take out the ACO? Vehicle reserve?
No, they left it back in, because they
Right,
can't
so-
buy down now.
Right, but in the recommendation amount, it's in there, so did you take
No,
it
in
out?
ours, it's in there, in theirs,
It's
it's not.
in the new one too.
In the revised
yeah.
recommendation, it's in there.
In our recommendation, it is in there.
So did you take it out?
No, they
No.
didn't. They didn't take it out.
So we're at 470, 336, and you guys are at 598, 336.
Because of the paving.
Correct.
Good.
we're in there with moving the ACO, but we're, you,
Right.
They put it back in. The ACO's
so they
back in.
took it out.
No, they left it in.
They left it in, we took it out, they put it back in.
Okay.
Yes, they put it back in.
We're not back in, that's one of our lines to move to.
Not the ACO.
I thought that was one of the ones.
No, that's not one of
That
them.
was a recommendation from the budget committee.
Was to move it out, and it's included in their revised recommendation.
Not theirs, it's included in ours.
No, right here, revised recommendation, right here, 6336, for 914,651, with all the whole numbers.
That amount is in what you just made a motion for, is that?
Ted's number, it's in there.
Yeah, 473,3571. So round it up to 473,36, that includes allocating that vehicle reserve money.
Allocating it to the.
So moving it to the principal.
However you
Yes.
want to do that. That was very confusing on the last meeting. I watched the video on Saturday night and tried to decipher.
Well, now we just learned that it's leased, so you guys were discussing of not doing that because it's leased.
Yeah, Colin said,
Which
might
we
as well
didn't
leave it
know.
right where it is.
Or move it just back into the fund itself.
So, yeah, so if you wanna
ACO
not, so
doesn't
you don't
need a
wanna move
line.
it, you need to take that out of your total.
No, we could, Colin, we can take that money and pay down the principal because it's not through the Maine Bond Bank, it's through Androscoggin Bank. Androscoggin will let you pay off early, Maine Bond Bank will not.
But even if you pay it off early, you still gotta pay the taxes and interest on it, right? It's not like you're paying down the principal and interest. is
Yeah,
gonna
but you
less.
pay less interest.
No, yeah, you're paying down your principal, it's like making an extra payment.
Yeah,
on your
you're paying
car.
less
I thought it was leased and we couldn't do that, it was just.
No, we can't, Maine Bond Bank, we can't.
Androscoggin.
Androscoggin, we can. Maine Bond Bank, once you take out a loan, it doesn't matter if you pay it back in a year, you owe them 10 years of interest.
So the number is correct, 470,336, right?
Yes.
Okay. So they're 5-0, you can call a vote for that.
All right, so can I get a vote on the 470,336?
I make a recommendation, we go with the
Select board has a vote.
470,336. I'll second that.
Oh, you did?
All in favor? Opposed?
I abstain. since
Abstained?
it-
4, 1 abstain.
Because it deals with the paving.
Okay.
So it's what, 401?
Yeah.
They agreed with
401.
us.
401, yes, 401.
Yes.
Who first? Who second?
We're good with that one. So I think Jim made that motion for you
Yep.
guys, is that correct?
Yep.
Yep.
Mark was a second.
And Mark seconded it. And it was 401, one abstention.
Yep.
Now, we're just gonna,
You gotta back up and vote on the 64.
we're doing that right now.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep, Colin, go ahead.
I make a motion to approve, raise my tax $64,315 for capital reserves.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? 5-0.
So since that number didn't
We,
change.
since the number didn't change, we don't have to revote it.
You don't have to do anything. That's
Okay.
correct.
Yep.
And moving down to capital improvements from taxes. Make a motion. It's $5,000.
Make a motion to raise $5,000 for capital improvements.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? 5-0. Next one is capital improvements from funds, $552,000. Budget committee recommended the same amount.
Motion?
You all set?
Yeah, no, make a motion to approve the $552,000 for capital improvement projects.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion?
So discussion on this one, budget committee talked about it at length, I think Jim mentioned it. The $500,000 is for the rec center. We're not touching that. It's allocated for the project, but all indications are looking green to go. May not even have to touch it possibly, not sure, but it's there in case we have a buffer deal. So it's not gonna impact the balances or reserves or anything.
That's our plan.
Okay,
No, that's correct.
just make sure everybody's clear on that.
Yep. Motion and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? 5-0.
Put my hand.
Next one is TIF-funded projects. The request was $492,432. Budget committee cut it by $100,000. And the revised number is $442,432. What did you guys cut out of that for the $100,000?
The Kent's Landing dredging.
Kent's Landing dredging. And the $50,000 put back in was for what, Randy?
That was a suggestion to put some money in for doing stonework on the parking lot at the top,
Stonework or paving?
or either or.
At what
We
parking
won't
lot?
be able to pave it for 50 grand.
What parking lot?
The one up by the monuments.
Oh,
Up by the monuments. What's your wish?
If you cut out the budget for the dredging, what are you gonna do when you can't launch your boats because it needs to be dredged twice a year, unfortunately?
It was just dredged 2 or 3 years ago, and
It needs one
It's
right
our-
now.
yeah, so
It's a waste of money.
do we,
That's our grandkids' problem.
Well, I understand that, but where are you gonna move the dock? What
Nowhere.
needs to happen?
Right now.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
they're not gonna do that, they're not gonna move the boat ramp, so
And
you're
you're
gonna
not
have to
gonna
go
do
to,
the dredging.
if you have a big boat, you're gonna go to Harrison.
What needs to be dredged, $100,000 isn't gonna touch it.
Right.
That was your number, Steve.
when you,
That was your number. You're the one who told me the 100,000.
I told you that would start us.
Okay. That was the number you told me to put in there, so.
Yeah, which that would get us, so we paid $68,000 for what got done.
Yeah, didn't
Originally,
last a year.
we could go a little further out, but in order to get to where we really should go, it's gonna be it's gonna be more than 100.
the only way you're gonna fix that is to dredge it and build some seawalls.
Right, yeah.
It's the only way you're gonna fix it.
And the DEP won't let you do it.
It's a
Won't
lot
let
more,
you
lot
build
more
it.
than $100,000.
Yeah, exactly.
Not a good location.
I
for a ramp in front
don't
of it.
understand why you wanna pave a dirted area that you only use 8 weeks a year, 7 weeks a year. Why would you spend money to pave it? The dirt's fine, the people figure out how to park there. You wanna do anything, take some fluorescent paint, you can paint down some lines until it rains, it works.
Well, also over there, Jim, I don't know if you've been over there lately, but, I mean, how much work needs to be done, I don't know, but
Right.
there's quite a drop off the pavement right now.
Yeah.
So something's gotta be done over there to fix the issue.
Yeah, I don't think pavement was really the discussion, was it? Just more fill and.
Yeah, and that would definitely help with the fill and what needs to be box cut in order to, the lower section of that is very muddy. So, I mean,
Reclaim, maybe?
I'll make a motion for $442,430 out of TIF funded projects.
Second.
Motion and a second, any more discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? 5-0. Now, you guys are at 392,432.
Yeah, but we're voting on your 442, 432.
Correct.
So can I get a motion to vote on the select board's 442, 432 on TIF funded projects?
second.
All in favor? I have 1 opposed. 140.
Make a motion to approve $127,495 for assessing.
I'll second it.
Actually, I think we skipped one, didn't we?
Yeah, I got TIF debt service.
If debt service is later in the.
Yeah, I was trying to put them together so you could have a discussion.
That's what's next in this pamphlet.
Yeah, but it's not on this, it's on the board.
So
Not
what
on
are
our list.
we gonna do assessing then?
Assessing. There's a motion and a second on the table. Any discussion for the 127,495? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? 5-0. Next one's administration. The request was for $670,156. Budget committee recommended $615,756. And in front of us is the full amount for $670,156.
Make a motion for the $670,156 for administration.
So what are you putting back in?
What did you take out?
It's not putting it back in, it's the original recommendation from the town manager.
It's the HRA.
Okay, the HRA, that's what you're putting back in.
Yeah, so this is kind of deceiving. So see at the bottom, it says reduce HRA by 54.4, so our number changes to 615. So there's no yellow here in the middle, it's at the very, very bottom. So the number we're presenting is 615, 756, there is a change that we recommended.
Yeah, right, 615, 756.
Right, I thought I heard Colin said there's no change, I was gonna make sure he saw that.
No change from the request from the town manager,
Got it.
the original request.
I have a motion for $670,156. I need a second before we discuss it.
Oh.
Second.
Thank you. Discussion. Go ahead.
I'm not sure what the answer is, so we felt that we had to start somewhere, but insurance is out of control and the town has to deal with this. It can't go up 18 to 20% every year, that means it's gonna double every 5 years. So it's unsustainable. If, the tax rate is gonna go up, no matter what. So you guys are gonna do something. You can't ignore it any longer. It was brought up 2 years ago by Martina Witz at a budget committee meeting when she was on the budget committee. It's been brought up, but, you got another 18% this year, so something's gotta give. If you're gonna put it back in, you're just ignoring it again. It's gonna be there again next year. So, you're gonna have to do something.
I have
So-
supporting
so
slides
Pat,
if
is
you
it-
wanna go through it.
What's that?
Is it 18 to 20% every year, or is there an average that we're looking at?
This is the highest increase, and I think it's, because of things that are going on, like the big beautiful bill and the anticipation of all of that. But we're gonna be increased based on the January numbers as well. That was an estimate, 18% was an estimate from my broker, that was months ago. I have not received an updated estimate in probably 2 months. But that's the number I was given, that's not normal. If you ask other people that are looking, other towns that are looking, they're getting a much less increase, a much lower percentage of an increase, and I think that's because they're on a calendar year, and so they're not looking until January until next year. The predictions are a little bit different. But I was told 18%, that is not the norm, I don't anticipate it's gonna be like that next July. But that's what the recommendation is this year, or what the estimate is this year.
So last year, we budgeted for a 17, 18% insurance increase. So what did it end up being?
It was like 8 to 10% last year.
That it ended up being 10% last year?
That was what we budgeted for, and
No,
I don't
we
remember.
definitely budgeted for around 17% last year.
Well, and I don't remember that, but I know that it didn't go up that much, and our insurance rates actually ended up decreasing because we negotiated a new plan in July of this year, so it actually is a little bit less. But now we're jumping up again.
So I watched the Town of Gray's budget meeting the other night, and they are up 6.7%.
MMA was up 9%. They do a ton of towns.
But you said their fees are a lot higher to begin with.
Correct, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, they went up 9%.
Well, yeah, if your fees are a lot higher, you can go up lower in a percentage. I mean, that's just math.
So our fees in comparison to their fees are still lower.
So this projected number is covering us for that large increase that may not happen, but at least we'll be covered if it does happen.
Yes.
We have a motion and a second on $670,156. Any other discussion from the board?
I just want to note from our end over here, everything that we took out, you guys are putting back in. So the mill rate is going to go right back up to where it was. And this still doesn't cover any extra to go back into our reserves. So we are not recapturing anything from the mistakes that were done 10 years ago. Yeah. So this is just a reminder to own it. when you have people out and about walking around and complaining because you were putting everything that we did back in.
At the same time, it's not drawing down that rate either, the fund balance.
Well, yeah, you're gonna at the end here, because it calls for taking out 400,000. Unless you're gonna change that, vote against that later in this budget.
Randy, could you talk about the possibilities of how you can make the 50% reduction of that HRA work?
Okay. So when we originally started talking about this, and I guess I'm going to talk to some people in the audience now too, because they haven't necessarily seen everything. The reason we have the HRA is because our plan is less expensive because we have bigger deductibles. The HRA was created so that the burden of the deductible didn't fall onto the backs of the employees. And MMA plan, to give you an idea, Acadia, that's what Casco uses. The deductible is 0. Our plan is $4,000 for a family member and $4,000 for an individual and $8,000 for a family member. The proposal that was put in front of it, if you did the math on it, the 54,000, that would have actually, for a family, they would have had to cover upwards of $13,000 on their maximum out of pocket. And if you take a $25 an hour salary and you figure out how much they earn a year and then you subtract out taxes and stuff, it's about $19 a year they have to live on. But if they have to pay that maximum out of pocket, that will cost them $4 an hour for every hour in the year that they work. So it's really a huge penalty. And that's why we were saying put it back in, right? We already have a much less expensive plan, anywhere from, let's say, $13,000 to $40,000 cheaper than our peer group. And the reason we're able to do that is because we have a higher deductible plan. And that savings included the cost of the HRA. So all in, we're $13,000 to $40,000 cheaper than the peer group. Now, if the 54,000, well, actually what the plan was for this year was to fund it at 108, which is the full dollar value, and then anything we didn't use, put it into a reserve account. And at the end of the year, whatever's left over, all we need to ask for next year in the tax cycle is the delta, right? So this year, if we'd asked for the whole 108,000, and let's say we use 50% of it, next year we would only come back and ask for 54,000. Right? Right now, what we ask for 108.8, and anything we don't use washes to undesignated funds. What we're saying is stop that practice and put the money into a reserve, and then only ask for taxes what you used. And historically, I think we're using, let's say 50% of it. So next year, the ask would be 50, whatever we used, and based on historic data, it would be around 54,000. If we implement it this year, we don't have a reserve, right? And then you see, we get into that scenario that I just talked about, where employees could end up wearing all of this on their back. And God help us if it's, that scenario that I just gave you, where somebody has a really bad illness in their family and they've got to take $13,000 out of their pocket in 1 year to pay medical fees. That's what we're worried about. That's why we want to fund it, and that's why we want to put it into a reserve account. Now, one of the ideas we had is if we left it in, could we do a carryover from whatever we didn't use this year, so that we're fully funded for another year, and then next year we could get back onto the plan that we're talking about. Whatever we don't use is what we raise.
That's what they did.
Can I speak on that too? I calculated today where we're at, and based on what we budgeted last year, when we do the budget for healthcare expenses, we budget based on the current staffing and what their health plan is. We don't budget worst case scenario that all 20 staff members are paying for a family. We budget based on current staff members and their plan. And since we budgeted last year, we've had several changes in terms of the plans. And so we are not gonna have much of a carryover this year.
It's not because of the HRA account, it's because we're overspending on insurance. So the cost of the insurance plans is up because of just a change in personnel, like Jason, he opted out, he didn't need it because he had military. I came in and I have a wife, right, and so we're on it together, so that's an example of, you get a new employee, and if they have a higher need than the prior employee, then you get an increase in your medical costs. But the HRA account is, everything I said is true.
Yeah, we don't spend that much on the HRA, as much as we budget. But usually if there's a change in personnel, that extra cushion comes from what we budgeted for the HRA.
And the percentages is 90%, town pays 90% for the insurance.
Yep, and our peers pay 93.
90% for the employee,
And then,
75%.
and 100% of the HSA.
Okay,
Or is that included in
No,
the 90%?
the town owns the HSA. The employee only uses it if they have a claim against it. At the end of the year, what isn't used is the town's.
So is the HSA included in the 90%?
90% is for the premium.
Just the premium?
Just
And
the
then we do 100% of what it would be if every employee had to use 100% of their HSA, or of their deductible.
What's the question? I'm not sure I heard it.
We do 90% on their insurance
On the
policies.
premium policy, yeah.
And then we collect 100% of, for the worst case scenario, if every employee had to use 100% of their deductible, we pay that deductible.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's 100% of the deductible. Town pays 100% of the deductible if used for every employee, and then pays 90% of their premium.
Correct.
For
Sure.
just the employee.
Just so we're clear.
What's the point you're trying to make? Because the town
I
keeps the
just
money.
want everyone to know what the percentages are, that it's, well, what is being collected and paid out for the insurance policies.
Yeah, if this was
across
an
the board.
HSA, all that money would go to the employees and they would have the money, right? That is
If it,
not
no,
what we
if
do.
it was an HSA, then a lot of the companies do half. If they typically have,
Yeah.
I worked for a law firm that had a lot of old partners, and so our deductible was extremely high. And so the firm put in half of the deductible.
Mm-hmm.
We had to put in the other half. That's
Naples keeps it. Naples keeps the money.
if it's not used.
If it's
But
not-
we are asking for the town to budget
What is
with
the,
our mill rates.
We're asking to budget
Or if it was
80%
100%.
of the HRA this year. We're not asking to budget 100%, even though I think that's a bad idea. And I regret suggesting it in the first place, but yes, we're budgeting at 80%. So your 50%, your 54,000 that you cut is 50% of 80% of the HRA. It's not 100%.
That was my
We were never
question.
budgeting the full amount this year.
Okay,
so what's the maximum out of pocket for a family plan is 10,000? That's where you get the 80%.
No, it's more than that. Maximum out of pocket's like,
12.
I think it's
I've got it on a
12 or
slide.
13.
14, family plan max out of pocket is 14,000. The HRA covers 8,000 of that.
So that's 60%.
Yeah, that's the total maximum out of pocket.
And
And
then
then
what
the-
they're recommending is 50% of the 60% that we're paying, that we're
When I
offering.
say 80%, I'm talking strictly deductible. I'm not talking max out of pocket, I'm talking strictly the deductible. So the deductible is, or what we have in our personnel policy is 4,000 for an individual, 8,000 for a family. And we budgeted that we would be using 80% of those deductible expenses. And that total for the whole town, for all 20 employees, if everybody used 80% of their deductible expense HRA, that total was $108,880 or something along those lines. And the budget committee recommended we cut that in half, and we only cover
Yeah.
54,000
So
of
Ted
that.
was right, it's 40%.
just to reiterate what I said earlier, I started out by saying I'm not so sure that this is the right account to start with, but that insurance costs are doubling every 5 years, and then you jumped up and said that only happened once. All right. Admin, 2025, health insurance, 48,000. This year budgeted 91,000. Clerk's, let me finish. Clerk's office, health insurance, 50,000, budgeted this year, 100,000. Code enforcement office, 36,000, budgeted 58,000. Fire department, 2025, 39,000, budgeted this year, 55,000. So over 2 years, 3 years, it's gone up that much. So I reiterate what I said. Health insurance will double within the next 5 years.
Jim,
Because
Isn't there so much flaws in that?
Those numbers are based on personnel changes.
whatever, it doesn't matter. The reality is, our insurance is going through the roof. It doesn't matter why. The fact of the matter is, it is.
Actually,
And
the
we
why
need
does
to
matter,
address
because
it.
that's fact versus opinion, right?
No, that's not an opinion,
Yeah.
that's fact.
Well, here's a fact. Insurance went down.
One at a time. One at a time.
Family with a family plan. Then
What?
What if everyone that is not on a family plan currently gets replaced with someone that is on a family plan?
Costs will go up.
Goes way up, exactly. So like, then it could more than double.
I think we.
That's a fact, that's not an opinion.
Any further discussion from the
I
board?
just want to bring up one point. Sam, when you said before that we're not taking into account things that the budget committee suggested, it's kind of in the order that this is in, because to me, when I look at, okay, I wish we had enough money for everyone to get paid more, for everything to be status quo, but we don't. So when I look at this healthcare, I'm also looking at myself, at other questions that we have. So for example, later when we're going to be talking about the clerk's office and the possibility, your recommendation to go down a person. So if I consider that, that affects one person. But then when I look at this 54,400, that affects everyone, right? So I'm thinking, if you're picking the lesser of two evils, right, which would I pick? So
just to clarify, the 54 is just for that one department.
Right.
The total is 108,800.
right.
So
No.
the,
No. 54 is for everyone.
The 54 is going to be spread across
Right.
every department, but
Right.
when we discussed it last week,
I
we
thought it
didn't
was
want to have to
118.
go through and make
180 is
adjustments to each department.
We cut it in half, we cut it in half, we cut it
we cut in
50%.
half the 108,800?
Take the one away.
So I was looking at 50,000 here, right?
Yeah.
And then 95,000 in the window. So, and as much as I don't want to do either, something's got to go. So I just don't want you to think that we're not respecting. I'm so grateful and respectful of all the time that the budget committee put into this. And so that's all. I just want to say the way I vote here also depends on something later in the budget.
So, to finish answering your question, we could fund this if we're gonna have to eat it on the insurance, right? And just look at the HRA as its own line item, do a carry forward on it, and then we should be able to come close to fully funding I say fully funding 80% plan, the 108. And then next year, the request would be, we put it into, it's not, a reserve fund isn't really the proper technical term, but we put it into a fund that doesn't lapse. And then all we ask for next year is however much we burn down, and we just keep replenishing the fund every year. Versus raising the whole 108 and then washing it into undesignated funds.
Okay.
So that's one way of doing what you said. If you want to, if you wanted to keep what the budget committee recommended and and knock it down by 54.4. As long as the select board would support doing a carry forward and then going forward, putting it into some type of a non-lapsing fund, then we could start down that path. That's what we want to do next year anyways. And we talked about it with the budget committee.
And is there a
Well, we
reason?
don't know how much is gonna carry forward. We don't think much is gonna carry forward anyway.
Well, no, it depends on how you look at it. If you look at all the medical insurance together, right, we know we're gonna be over because of the change in personnel. But the HRA account by itself hasn't been depleted, right? It's more of the premiums are. The premiums are higher than was budgeted. Not the HRA account.
But Pat just said that it wasn't going to be,
Could be.
that not much would be carried, that she doesn't believe much would be carried over this year. Is that not what you just?
Not because of the HRA usage, but because of the medical premium costs being higher than what was budgeted. What we,
Okay.
one set of money is Naples money, and one set of money goes to Blue Cross and Blue Shield.
Any more discussion? The motion on the table is $670,156. All in favor? Opposed?
Nay,
I'll abstain. You're a nay?
yeah.
So
So 3-1-1.
So is that a quorum?
Sure it is.
Five-member board.
Isn't the board plus one?
No, his interpretation is wrong, not a quorum.
Say that again?
No, you're right. You're right.
Thank you.
Jim, we asked lawyers.
You're wrong, okay?
You say that when you don't like what lawyers
No,
say.
I don't like lawyers.
It's like the
You're
third
You're
time.
absolutely right about that. And you can quote me in the Bridgeton News. I do not like lawyers. This town has operated on Robert's Rules of Order forever. And
Have you read the budget committee ordinance? It says plus one.
the budget
We have
committee.
bylaws.
The budget
We have
committee.
bylaws, we don't have an ordinance. We have
don't have-
bylaws.
we don't
Yeah,
have
we do. We do.
And your
We
signatures
have an
on it.
ordinance.
And it's plus one.
What if our bylaws say?
Same thing,
Lawyers looked at it.
the same. The ordinance and the bylaws are the same.
Plus one. Can you get it for me?
We have
For
five,
sure, when I
we have
read it,
five
it said-
people here, so we have a quorum.
No, yeah, you do. You
Okay.
do.
The other night, you said we had to have 6 to have a quorum.
No, I did not. I said you had to have 5 people before you could have the meeting. That's why we waited. And then when you vote, because you need to have a quorum when you vote, a pass is a 5.
Because your board is 7 people, their board is 5 people.
It's because, I believe it's because the budget committee is based off of 7 seats. Regardless if you have 7 people or not, you're based off of 7 seats. When those people resigned, those seats should have been filled within 30 days, based off of your ordinance. This committee is 5 people, not 7. So there are 3-2. This is a 4+1.
That's correct. So the budget committee can revisit the administration line, because we differ.
Can I get a motion for 670-156 for administration? The select board's recommendation. All in favor? 0 opposed? 3 opposed, abstain? 2 abstain.
Moving on.
I want to motion this one, but I got the numbers. Randy, can you help me out with number 11, fund 11, boards and committees?
Sure, what would you like to know?
I've got original,
19,814.
$19,814, and then I got budget committee recommended $8,999, But in the breakdown, I've got budget committee recommends reduced down to 9,764. So I'm just not sure which one to put.
8999 is the correct number.
That's the correct one?
Yeah.
Okay. So I make a motion to approve $8,999 for boards and committees.
That's not what the revised, so you're not going with the revised request?
That's what I have in front of me,
Okay.
is 8999.
And that is the correct number. I
So,
think.
so this is wrong on this sheet? Oh,
Yes, I
okay.
think so.
We didn't make any recommendation on this one.
All right,
Yeah, but that
Hold on.
Okay. Did you get a second?
so you're agreeing with the budget committee, the 8999 recommendation?
I don't agree with it. I don't think anybody currently on the board cares about it.
No, I meant that's,
Future, going forward.
that's your motion.
That's my motion.
Second.
Motion second, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? 5-0.
Make a motion to approve $417,000, oh, no, sorry. Make a motion to approve $329,365 for code enforcement.
Second.
Motion and a second for $329,365 code enforcement. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
5-0. So I want to go back to a technical question. When the budget committee voted against the administration number, that wasn't a quorum.
Budget committee?
What happens there?
Technically, it's a fail, but their vote still appears on the warrant. So even though it's not a pass, it's technically a fail, it's still a vote.
Okay. I know. I was just being a little technical. Clerk's office.
Make a motion for $417,516 for clerks, line 16.
I needed a second for a discussion.
Second.
Motion and a second for $417,516. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Nay.
Abstain? 4-1. TIF funded debt service.
Hold
Hold
on.
on, we need to vote.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Can I get a vote on the select board's 417-516 for clerk town office?
Need a motion and a
I need
second.
a motion. Ask. I'm gonna have to abstain, it's up to you guys.
I make a motion. Oh, no, I can't, can I?
Yeah,
Well, you can, and then you can
I make a
abstain.
motion.
Can I get a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Hold on, question.
Sorry.
This is for the clerk's office.
Yep.
Yep.
I didn't.
Why
we didn't
can,
abstain.
why can Steve and Steve have
We
to
didn't
abstain?
abstain, we voted.
We voted against it.
Against the change.
Oh, I think you guys abstained last time.
No.
I wasn't saying they had to, I was just trying to,
I thought
I
they,
thought they did vote last time.
No, we voted
Okay.
against it.
All in favor for the 417-516? 1 and 2 in favor. Opposed? 3 opposed.
TIF funded debt service, $279,383.
I'm gonna make a motion, Ted, can I just group all these together, because for 18, 20, 21, 30, 40, 44, 45, and 46, I'm paying 50 unexpected. Town manager, budget committee, I make a motion to approve them all at the recommended amounts. Nobody in the budget committee has voted against it, you guys just abstained because.
Now we're moving, boys. Now we're moving.
You guys just fell into those departments, you abstained.
Yep,
Right.
yep. Second.
I like that. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Myself? So those are all grouped together with a 4-0-1 vote.
Well, you're really only abstaining because of one of them.
That's correct. But it's lumped together, so
Grouped together.
it's grouped together, so I'm abstaining because of that.
Are you okay with that though?
The rest of it, I'm good.
Are you okay with that? I'll go back.
No, you're good. You're good. I think everybody knows why I abstain. It's my right.
Before we move on, though, I would like to point something out. On the TIF funds, between the debt and the projects this year, there's $771,815 worth of taken from the funds. But on the taxes, if we go by what has happened in recent years, it's 485. This has been a long-standing trend, and so we're burning down faster than we're building. The problem is we've used what we're going to raise in TIFs as a mill rate control mechanism, and we're going to have some conversations about what your long-term goals are with the TIF district, because we don't have enough money in there to sustain burning it faster than we fill it. And we've been pulling it down quite a bit. I mean, that delta there is almost $300,000. And the way the TIF works is if you can shelter all that money. So we have about $80 million in real estate property that can be sheltered. So you take $80 million, you multiply it by the mill rate, and you'll come up with over $800,000 that we could be sheltering. And the way that works is the state then looks at what we are sheltering, and then they lower the state assessment, which is used in allocating the school and the county to us. So if we had raised the whole 771 and we've been doing it right along, it would have worked to our benefit, right? We're burning wealth the way we're doing it. If we had been taking all that money in, there would have been an offset in what we paid the school and the county. And so the taxpayer, the amount that the taxpayer gets charged is exactly the same. But we haven't done it that way. So if we were to do it this year, it would be equivalent to a $300,000 increase in the mill rate. Not the mill rate, but in the amount of money we had to raise, which would raise the mill rate. You wouldn't see the benefit for about a year to maybe two, because the state uses a rolling, I think it's a 3-year average on real estate. Don't quote me on that, but they're behind. So they've already said what everything is worth this year, even though, and given that to the school, and that's how we've gotten our allocation. All they know is what we took last year. They don't know what we're going to take this year. So going forward at some point, that's an opportunity. There's a lot more opportunity there to shelter the money. And like I said, there's short-term pain, but then after that, there's no impact to the taxpayers whatsoever. So it was a mistake that was made years ago that we continue to pay for it every year. It's one of the reasons why we're burning down. So I just want to make everybody aware of that.
Go ahead.
So, Randy, make that make sense. We're not taking as much as we could out of the TIF, or allocating TIF. You're saying it's up to 800,000 now. I think it was 600,000 a year or two ago, but it's up to 800,000 now. We're currently sheltering 485.
Yeah.
Should we incrementally do that, or should that be a one-time jump? Or, I mean, should we go up 15,000 this year, so we're going 500,000? Or is that going to impact the mill and going to hurt?
But it's definitely going to hurt. If you do it over time, it would help, but it also slows down the benefit of it too. My first recommendation would be is what is the goal for the TIF district? If you're all done with it, you don't need the money, then we don't need to do it, right? But if there's more things that need to be done in the TIF district, then the conversation needs to be, are you actually sheltering at the right rate? Because essentially, we're burning it down. We're going to run out of money.
And remind me,
Yeah, go ahead.
I think that's good till, the TIF districts are till 2033 and 2036, is that roughly?
I think it's 33 and 34.
33 and 34? But we can extend those, right? So if we took,
Can
we
ask.
hired a lawyer and said, hey, can we extend these out and even possibly increase our area? So we can capture more shelter instead of 80 million, maybe the property's 100 million? That's not, I mean, that's another day conversation. I'm sure.
Yeah.
I mean, once our budget is stabilized,
Yeah,
we're
no.
not dealing with this situation we're in right now, then I mean, for the last few years, that's what they've been countering the mill rate with the TIF ultimately.
Just want you to know that that's
Just remember, the
Built-in
purpose of
burn.
the TIF is to save money on the school. Because you shelter that money, so therefore you don't have to pay more toward the schools. That's the big benefit of the TIF.
it's essentially a wash.
Right.
Yeah. But not the way we're operating.
No, not right. It's supposed
We're
to.
burning it,
It's supposed to be, right.
yeah.
I make a motion for $358,202 for general obligation debt.
For how much?
Yeah, I wanna,
We gotta discuss it first.
so the request for line item 70 is 481,482. The budget committee recommended 440,323. And the revised request is 358,202. First, can I ask why the budget committee has a difference from the original request? What did they cut out?
Fuck the ambulance.
Yeah, the ambulance,
Okay,
which you guys have cut out because you're funding the entire thing.
and, right. So Randy, what is the 358,202?
So, as we've talked about in the rec committee, is if we take the $500,000 of undesignated funds that we have and we use it to pay interest, then we don't have to raise the interest. And it also saves a lot of money. So, the first one is just showing that if we did a traditional 20-year loan, the interest rate would be 3.95, which is great for 20 years, but the interest charges on that would be 1.344. Option 2 would be 300,000 for 10 years, and the interest on that would be 471. And so the $500,000 that we've already allocated would pay the interest payments, and I still got this backwards. And then, so that would get us some, the problem with that one is the mill rate would be 1944. Then the third option is if we go to 2.65 for 10 years, the interest drops all the way down to 416. Once again, we can cover it. And then if we are earning 3.5% on that $500,000, we'll actually put something like $120,000, not only pay the interest, but there'll be $120,000 more dollars that'll go to paying down the principal. And then the mill rate was at the target that was talked about, which is 17 cents.
But basically what this does is it puts the onus on the fundraising committee to come up with $350,000 toward this whole project to buy down the loan, which buy down the interest. That's what this does.
And doesn't put any interest tax burden on the
Correct.
taxpayers.
It puts no burden on the taxpayers for the interest.
So, Randy, we're comfortable with the 358,202?
Yeah, I am, and if you look at the savings on that
Yep.
that offsets either the clerk or the HRA.
So Colin has a motion on the floor for 358,202. Did I hear a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion from the board?
Yes,
Go ahead.
because the residents originally approved it last year, the rec center. Do we want to go ask the residents again? Do they want to rethink it because of the miscalculation that wasn't figured out after they approved this rec center and push it off a year or two?
There was no miscalculation on the rec center.
Not on the rec center itself, but on the on the calculation for the mill rate was.
It's a conversation for the board. You can't revote that.
What would happen if the residents now said, I want to rethink the rec center for a year, 2 years, whatever it might be? How much would that reduce the mill rate today?
17 cents.
17 cents.
17 cents.
And 17 cents is exactly what we said it was going to be. So there is no miscalculation. The voters voted on the 17 cents.
Steve, remember, if think about that, right? So if you take that 17 cents out, and the taxpayers push it off for a year or two, your $3.5 million project is probably not gonna be 4.5. Stuff's just.
I understand.
Not only that, you're gonna lose your entire fundraising committee.
Well, and all the headway they've made.
Yeah, all the money they've raised so far and all the money they're in the process of raising, so.
The reason I bring it up, because I've been asked by half a dozen residents that same question. So I told them I would ask them at the meeting.
So again, the mill rate calculation for the rec center has not changed.
Right.
That's correct.
Yep. Go ahead, Colin.
So, I think I sent you guys all a thing. I found, the Maine National Guard does individual readiness training where in 2023, they cleared and did all groundwork up in Auburn for their sports complex. It's something the National Guard does. Say that the grant committee reaches out to them and they approve that, and that reduces the cost of all the groundwork, which is somewhere in $250,000, or, I know an abstract number, $250,000, say. How does taking a bond for that amount of money impact if we're just gonna cover that and pay it right back, and/or is the project scope gonna increase, or just, how does that work if we're taking all that money? I know we're paying interest out of pocket, but realistically, the interest is still there, it's just we're paying it with cash, so how does that work? If we don't really need a $3 million bond or $3 million project, because one, the grant writing committee comes up with $500,000, and Maine National Guard covers $250,000, that's $750,000, so you don't need that whole thing. How does that work? Do we just put it right back on the bond, or is that gonna be for a bond bank where we're screwed, or what?
The way the building committee is approaching this is we're not gonna start the project until we have pledges, commitments, and all that's ironed out. Whether it's P&K that does in-kind service to have their name on the building, or whether it's Hancock Lumber that provides all the supplies to have their name on the building, we're gonna know all that before Randy goes out and borrows the money. That's the plan, so that'll be built in. So to answer your question, even though the vote is approved to borrow $3 million, at the end of the day, we might borrow $2,350,000.
Right, we don't.
Because we've raised money or we got in-kind services to offset it.
And I guess that's my point, Jim, is, if we're going to the Maine Bond Bank, it's only fall and spring we can do that, so are we not anticipating till either fall or spring to take that loan?
Fall. We're hoping, our goal is to have everything lined up by the fall. Might have to wait till the spring of next year, but our goal is to have everything lined up by the fall so we know where we're at.
And I have no idea about fundraising besides the money I put into stuff, but is that enough time for them to go out and seek everything that's on the table that they could possibly get?
We have a grant writer, plus we've already met with Hancock Lumber. We've talked indirectly with P&K. We've already got local businesses starting to pledge to buy banners. We just found out today, we got $25,000 from 3 of the local camps. It's off, they've hit the ground running.
So even though we're asking for this number in July, or no, this is May, it may not be this number come fall.
Maybe less, yep.
If I
I just
remember,
want the public to know that, because
if I remember
I think there's a
correctly,
clear understanding.
if I remember correctly, Colin, I don't think the main bond bank's still at November.
Is it November? All right, so it's almost winter. Okay, those are my questions.
Yep.
Any other questions? Good, Steve? Motion is for $358,202.
Do we need to identify that that is for course of action 3 on this page? Or are we not figuring that out yet?
That's for the
No,
general
that number is
obligation.
3.
So that is option 3?
Yeah.
Okay, that's my trigger.
Yep.
Okay, I'm good, sorry.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstain? 5-0.
I make a motion that we accept the $358,202.
I'll second that.
All in favor? It's 5-0.
I gotta go wrong, I should explain this now.
Yep.
$770,636 for highways and roads.
$300,000 for your mother.
Back up a second real quick.
Whoops.
When you did your, whatever you want to call it, your joint motion earlier,
The block.
Yeah, the block motion, where did that go to? Did that cover fire department? Did that cover-
It covered Fund 18,
It-
TIF, 20 maintenance, 21 general assistance, 30 sanitation, 40 fire and rescue, 44 marine safety, 45 dispatch, 46 animal control, and 50 unanticipated expenditures.
Awesome, thank you.
Yep, pretty much everything in between.
Then I made a motion for 73 and 80, $770,636 and $394,562.
The other two numbers are the same as well.
Yeah, they're all the same.
Even though they're in yellow, they're the same. The 133 and the 64.
Second?
Unless somebody wants to discuss 88 and 89.
I want to talk about 80 and 89.
Okay. So go with your original motion. Kevin seconded for line items 73 and 78, which is highways and recreation. Any discussion from the board?
73 and 80.
73 and 80, that's correct. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? 5-0. Next, community groups, line item 88. The request was for 155,950. Budget committee recommends 133,650, and the revised request is 133,650. Just quickly, can you guys tell me what the difference of $22,000 is, roughly? 21,700, whatever it is.
Crosswalk wanted 15,000 and we gave them 5. And then the public library wanted 102 and we went back to last year's appropriation of 95,000. We funded we doubled the food pantry because they need a new freezer. So we went from 8,400 to 15,000. Sebago Cove is a new, similar to Tricky Pond, and we matched the 15,000, right?
1,500.
1,500, I mean, yeah, we matched 1,500.
People with big.
Pleasant Mountain Ski Club was new, and we funded that for 2,500.
We didn't give money to people that had organizations.
Yeah, but that's under the outside agency.
Yeah, oh, okay.
Okay.
Union Church asked for 10 and we gave 5.
Yeah.
So it just, my mind was boggled there for a second. I have to ask the question, and it's a yes or no. The 2 large freezers out back, do we own them?
No.
Are they being moved?
Yes.
Some point.
Hey, you just said a yes or no question. That was another question.
Yeah, well, are they being moved, yes or no?
They've got to be moved.
Okay. So I need a motion for either the 155,950 or the 133,650.
So just for clarification, I just heard that Sebago Cove was 1,500?
No.
It's 1,000.
So
Oh, it
1,000.
is
I'm sorry, yeah, I read the
We
wrong.
reduced it
Yeah,
by 50.
yeah, you're right.
Okay,
You're right.
okay. All right, so the numbers are right then. I thought we
Yeah.
had an error.
Nope, no, it is.
Tell you, I got a motion, but I want to change a couple of these.
This one here. What page you on? Bottom right.
29.
For clarification
Yeah.
on Pleasant Mountain, says here they requested 7,900.
Because that was wrong. They didn't actually request 79. It was wrong on our sheet. It should have been 25.
Right, the sheets we got, it was 25. It's a
Right.
typo on this, on the slideshow.
There was a typo on our sheet.
Yeah, when they presented, they corrected that. Because they originally had put that amount, but they put it like in the wrong area, I guess, of the,
Yeah.
Our original shows 25, so.
It looks like,
I think I cleaned it
I
up.
think you ended up cleaning it up at one point, yeah.
Yeah.
if I had to guess, it was probably 7,900 for all 3 towns.
That could be right, yeah.
Yeah.
And then they just put that in the wrong, what they're asking for. in the wrong
But just for clarification, we funded them at what they requested.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
Just to clarify, we got 1,800 in snowmobile registrations for the town,
Yes.
and we're giving 2,500 to Muddy River Snow Seekers.
Yep.
Okay.
just wanna go down this list.
If your number's gonna be different, then I wanna know where you wanna make the change.
So mine's gonna be different. I got a recommendation, a couple adjustments. Whether you guys like them or not, you know, Muddy River Snow Seekers, $2,000. Crosswalk Community, $5,000. American Legion, $1,000. Historical Society, $5,150. Public Library, $95,000. Trick Pond, $1,500. Naples Food Pantry, $10,000. Union Church, $5,000. Sebago Cove Preservation Association, $1,500. And Pleasant Mountain Ski Club, $1,500.
What does that come to?
Oh, I gotta add that.
Plus 5.
Mine is $6,000, I think. It's 127,650.
What's the number?
I think it's 127,650.
What was Pleasant Mountain? What was your request for Pleasant Mountain?
2,500.
Well, I thought he
said 15.
Calling it 15.
I got $119,650.
What's that? Pleasant Mountain, how much?
Keep it rate, 650.
Yeah.
No.
The only one I heard that you changed was Naples Food Pantry. Did you change anything?
Muddy River.
Muddy River to 2,000, so
Okay.
that's $500 difference. And then
The food pantry.
5,000 for the food pantry. And then it's a difference of 500 between Sebago Cove and Pleasant Mountain.
You went up 500.
Yep. And then down 1,000.
So it's a $6,000.
I think you're doing tourism a serious injustice if you're gonna shave the Muddy River Snow Seekers budget. That's a huge industry in this town. If the snow is there, then that's a huge recreation for this community.
Yep.
I don't disagree, Kevin. They only bring 1,800 bucks in.
That's irrelevant.
The tours pay us anything?
That's irrelevant.
Take her somewhere else.
That doesn't matter.
I think if they didn't bring in any money, we'd still fund them.
Right. It's tourism, we're bringing people to the community, it's helping all the other businesses, it's, you know.
I don't think it's gonna make or break that company. It's a rough year. We're gonna cut stuff, make changes.
You haven't cut anything, you added back everything.
We added everything back in,
This is the first line item you cut.
But that's gonna be the first thing I'm gonna agree with, is the fact that we have, they bring in 18. We bring 1,800 for registrations. This isn't about tourism right now. If you wanna talk about tourism, they're bringing more revenue from them.
Can I just make a comment real quick? We only get that $1,800 kickback because our town provides a snowmobile club.
There we go.
We wouldn't get it if we didn't have a club.
But
The state
define
would just keep
provide,
it.
like,
I'm
does
just
that mean we
stating.
have to give something to the, like, or is there a certain amount we have to give? Like, is there a cap we have to give?
That I'm not 100% sure.
All right, Colin has a motion, I did not hear a second.
I still don't know what the number is,
Well, you're gonna find out in a minute.
because he said it was 119.
No, it's 127,650.
127,650.
Okay.
Can you read it one more time? Muddy River, your proposal.
2,000.
2,000 for Muddy River, 5,000 for Crosswalk.
He basically
1,000
decreased.
for American Legion, 5,150 for
No, we said 133.
95 for the library,
133.
1,500 for Trick Pond,
He decreased the
10,000 for Naples Food Pantry,
food
5,000 for
pantry.
Union Church.
We did
1,500 for
15,000,
Sebago
he did
Preservation,
10. That's where the
1,500
big
for
number
Pleasant
goes. That's 5 of the 6,500 he took out. Took 500.
His negative delta is minus 6,000.
And he took
So that's
500
out
out
of
of
the
the Muddy River.
127,650.
The Naples Food Pantry needs that freezer, and the Ski Mountain Club does a lot, that club is massive, and what they do is huge for the kids and the adults in this
Did I
community.
hear a second?
It's far beyond the Muddy River Association.
I make a motion for the 133,650.
Second.
Any discussion from the board? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? 4-1. Last line, outside agencies requested 98,530. Budget committee recommended 64.2. Revised request is 64.2. Again, I'm gonna ask what the differences are between the 98,530 and how the budget committee got the 64,2.
Lake Region Chambers, 1 to 12, we cut that. Opportunity Alliance wanted 5,000, we cut that in its entirety. Southern Maine Agency on Aging was 2,500, we cut that. Tri-County Mental Health was 6,000, we cut that. Regional bus, the Lake Region's regional bus service was asking for 13, we went down to 13,000, we went down to 10,000. MPBN was asking for 150, we cut that in its entirety. Sweetster was asking for 2,500, we cut that in the entirety. And the Bridgeton Community Center was asking for 3,180, we cut that in the entirety. And I believe we moved one.
It was the Pleasant.
Yeah.
The Pleasant Mountain Ski Club, we moved over from here to the community
We moved
groups.
three.
We moved 3 of them over.
We moved three of them.
Union Church, Sebago Cove Preservation, and Pleasant Mountain.
Yep.
What is Sweetster? Anybody know?
Yep.
Mental
We used to
health.
work
It's
for
another mental
behavioral
health.
children
Behavioral children?
Our,
and some adults.
Ted, our thought process was we fund Naples first because it's a tight year, so some of these budgets, they have a $7 million, $8 million budget, they pay their director $150,000, $200,000. So we went for funding food pantries and everything that's local.
Out of what you just listed, the big ones was Lake Region Chamber going from 12,000 down to 0.
Because we never funded them in the past, we only
Okay,
gave them 500.
perfect, good answer. The regional bus transportation from 13 down to 10, can I just ask?
That's what we gave them last year.
We gave them 10,
Yep,
okay.
that's why we did
So
that.
their increase could have been an anticipated expense in maybe fuel, I don't know, but I know the service gets used.
Yep.
That bus is
Our
about a lot.
our biggest complaint was, they said they weren't stopping in Raymond, because Raymond doesn't fund them. They're stopping in Raymond, because we've had several people see them.
So Raymond must be funding them?
No, they're not.
They're not.
Well, you followed them.
Yeah, one day.
Did they,
Not intentionally.
Must have been 10 o'clock in the morning.
It was.
did those guys go up in their ticket price? Do you know?
I've never been on the bus, Colin, I don't know.
So we didn't cut their funding, we just didn't increase it.
Okay, got it.
Jim, do you know, or Sam, do you guys know?
What's that?
If they went up on the ticket price?
I have no idea.
I don't know, he wouldn't meet with us, so.
No, he
He
did
came
actually
at the
come in.
end.
Did he meet?
The last
Yeah, he did
meeting.
actually come in.
Oh,
You weren't here.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it
That
took-
was the night you,
It took, yeah, it did take 3
took
meetings.
3 meetings to get him here, but when he showed up, you weren't there.
I'd like a motion.
Make a motion for the $64,200 for outside services.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any more discussion? All in favor? Aye. 5-0. Very good. I need a motion to adjourn.
Whoa.
We also know, do you guys have what the number was for the mill rate before, for our recommendations and then what it is currently?
10.63,
10.63 was for us?
yeah,
Okay.
now we're at 10.65.
2 cents. Wow, that is good.
That,
Ted,
what?
I have
Sure,
something
that's
for
what it
other
is?
business.
All that stuff that was added back in.
Yeah, and
Yeah, but you
it's,
gotta remember the rec center is
Right.
a big savings.
It's like a $80,000 savings.
Oh, because of the interest on the rec
With
center.
the updated calculation of the rec center, it's huge.
Yeah, we had 100,000. We had 100,000, 60 back then. We had the clerk, 85,000.
Just pass it down.
So,
This is the next thing on the agenda, Ted, that has to happen tonight.
Because 100,000 went back at 50, the clerk went back in at 85,000.
Is that enough?
Yeah.
Thank you.
The insurance went back in at 54. So,
So we were at, we were at 1075 or 1080 before budget.
oh, they're asking
committee.
questions.
Before you guys did your cuts,
yeah.
we got down to 1063.
Right.
We kept,
But they just put in more than half of our stuff back in. So we only went up
It can't be 2
0.05.
cents.
no, they kept all of your reductions for marine safety, the small adjustments from the fire department. They went with your original plan for 88 and 89. The HRA was like 3 cents on the mill rate. The
Clerk?
The clerk was like
6, 5.
7 cents, I think, maybe on the mill rate, so it was like 11 cents.
The 100,000 dredging went back in at 50,000.
And then they took out 80,000 with the updated rec center. So I think, I'm looking at the numbers now, they're all in here.
But you gotta keep in mind that you guys was operating off from a 1075 down to 1063. And we're at a 1065. So the difference is 2 cents. A whole whopping 2 cents.
You got, you gotta add the numbers back, re-add, not right now, but that doesn't make any sense, because you told us 100,000 equals 8 cents. So,
All I can tell you is, basically, we just adopted the third column, and that number tied into 1065 with a $120,000 overlay.
okay, but the numbers we're looking at, if you want to make it that simple, your column totals 8,562,613. Our column is 8,215,114.
So, Jim, we don't have a spreadsheet that calculates a mill rate for all 3 columns.
Okay.
We linked it ahead before we walked in here, so if there was changes, we could tell you real time. All I can tell you right now is mill rate is 1065. We would have to plug those numbers in just to verify.
Okay.
So we don't have that answer right now.
Right,
No.
correct.
But we can do it.
I'd like to know what it was with our recommendations
Sure.
before.
Hi.
Okay, moving
So,
on, other business.
well, I'm under other business. All it is the warrant language for the May 19th secret ballot. Michelle needs to have that today in order to make the warrant, because that has to be printed outsourced. So basically, your first article is for the Naples comp plan to be adopted, and the following 10 articles are the language that we already discussed at the last couple of meetings. If you want me to go real quickly through them, I can.
I don't think we have to, it's the same thing.
It's all the same stuff. I didn't
that
add
we had
anything
at the
new.
public hearing, that's
Yes,
correct.
correct, and this is not a public hearing.
You're gonna add the ambulance.
So I need a motion to approve Article 1 through 11 to go on the warrant for the May 11th,
19th.
May 19th general election.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Randy, before we
5-0.
adjourn, is there any other articles that have any budget-related items to them besides this for the town meeting? There's the ambulance one,
Yeah.
but is there any other?
No, there has to be a warrant article for the Maine bond bank, right? Permission to go get a bond for the rec center.
Yeah, but you're,
So we have to put that on.
okay.
But that's what the lawyers are saying is that's all we need. We just gotta say we're going to the Maine bond bank and here's the total debt.
So the select board should vote to recommend, and this budget committee should vote to recommend, because we're spending money. So the vote is no underneath that the budget committee recommends 5-0, or whatever the vote is, and same with the, on articles that involve money, we've always had,
That one isn't really a money article, it's a permission article. So you might know better than I. All it says is we have permission to go to the Maine bond bank to borrow money.
that they already authorized through the vote previously. Okay,
Exactly.
all right.
The lawyers sent us the
Yeah. So that's the only article then, outside the budget?
And the reserve one
Yeah.
that outlines.
Yeah, okay, and we already voted on that,
There's
so.
some business article ones that we have.
Yeah, but that doesn't involve money, yep. Okay.
Before we adjourn, I just want to remind all you guys that we have a bunch of papers to sign tonight. So now I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn at 8:29 PM.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor? Opposed?